we're coming to the end of the year, might as well make a special sort of Christmassy edition. I'll go through the stuff I found. I'll show you this Christmas's card I got from Suteneko, and we'll also talk a little bit about, just a little bit at the end, about what's going on with the channel. Ooh, yeah, and special Christmas thrifting present I got myself, but like in that order. Welcome to a special Christmassy edition of the video game thrifting series. I haven't done a thrifting video, I think, since before the summer, or since about the summer began, because I haven't actually found that much stuff. Not enough to warrant an actual video, but actually like over the past half a year I did gather a bunch of stuff, so this is enough for one video. Jewel case of SimCity 3000. It's got nothing else going for it. The jewel case itself is a bit squiffy, just simple disc, nothing about it special. But this is again the SimCity series, very important in gaming history and city building, and in the city building genre especially. Not as important for me, as I've documented thoroughly. If the city builder takes place in anything close to modern times and urban areas, I am super not interested, but I will collect them. Definitely will collect them. Still haven't even seen anything close to SimCity 2000. I have, if you remember from an older video, I have the remake, and now I have 3000. So you know, we're getting close. We're going back further in time. Now I have some really special finds, which I just got. Well, I got because one of them I got because it existed, and the other one I got because I had to have it. But I obviously had to get them because these are actual PlayStation 1 games. And this was the first time I actually saw PlayStation 1 games in one of the many thrift stores that I tend to regularly visit. So this is called Starfighter 3000. I have no fucking clue what it is. I have never heard of it, but I mean, looks like a, well, it's called Starfighter, a 3D space pew game. But again, it's a PlayStation 1 game, and I've never found these fucking things. So of course I had to get it. Comes with the manual, so that's a nice thick manual, and the very simple Converse star disc over here. So that was super surprising to find. By the way, like if you remember back in February, I got my PS2 Slim donated. I haven't had the time to actually test it yet, so maybe next year. Maybe next year is gonna be the comparison crossover PC with PS2 titles. Maybe that's gonna be when I start doing it. We'll see. Now, this is another PS1 game I found, and it's actually two games. It's none other than Rayman 1 and 2. And if you remember, I got Rayman 3 on PC a while back, and it had the cool holographic cover thingy, and I had to have this. If you're not from Europe, it's unlikely you're as familiar with Rayman as we are here in Europe. Rayman was a super popular platformer, especially because it was on PC. And yeah, this one has two games and still has the manual. Very nice indeed. And now I think I have the entire series. I have Rayman 1, 2, 3. I don't know if they made I'm not sure if they actually made a fourth, but it would be interesting, like to make a comparison. So I could play Rayman 1 and 2 on the PS and then play them on PC and compare how they were, and we'll see if that's in the future. But yeah, it was super. Again, I found two PlayStation 1 games, and I think there was some others there that really didn't interest me, so I left them for other collectors. I picked up Rayman because, again, Rayman, and Starfighter 3000 because it just looked, you know, I had to have something else. It just looked like, if it's a sports game, I'll most likely leave it there. I don't give a fuck about sports games. Likewise, if it's a car racing game, but that depends. When it comes to car racing games, like, I don't like most of them. There's several I actually enjoy quite a lot, and I've never actually talked about them yet. Another find, this time is a PS2 find. I found Dragonball Z Budokai 2. I imagine it's, oh, actually, wait, what? Oh, it's a commercial. Still has the manual, which is cool, and a commercial for Budokai 3, I guess. Which I imagine is an arcade, versus fighting game. I don't know if this is one of the good ones. I am aware there are several Dragon Ball Z titles. I don't know where this one fits on the quality on the quality hierarchy, but I'm pretty sure some of you know, and you can let me know in the comments. Okay, now so these were the console stuff, the console things I found. Finding PlayStation 1 games, woo, really unexpected. Now we're going into the channel relevant stuff, let's say, with none other than the Settlers 1. Yeah, I found this in a thrift store in a small town. We were visiting some friends and whatnot. I do my best to visit the local thrift shops. And yeah, I found this. I've never seen this particular, the PC Best Buy Pocket Edition series. I haven't seen it up until this, and it has this weird shit. And it has a real clippy clappy thingy. But yeah, this is actually a Settlers 1 CD, which well, and it's Nordic languages. I'm pretty sure it's also in English, but that doesn't really matter. What matters is that I never really thought I'd actually ever see anything close to this. Like, I'm not going for like original big box shit. That's besides the fact of that being very unlikely here on the European mainland. It's, even if I do find it, it's gonna be like obscenely expensive, which I'm not in the business of purchasing obscenely expensive video games for my collection. I'm going for as cheap as I can. That's generally my approach to this, like creating a physical PC game library collection with as small of an investment as possible. But yes, Settlers 1, extraordinary. Here's something I also found again randomly I think it was the same small town. I visited a couple of small towns in the past half a year. Beyond Good and Evil, and this one is actually still in its wrapping. This is one of those games that I only know due to its reputation. I never actually played it. I know. Again, why I didn't play it is it came out during the time when I most likely either didn't have the computer capable for it, or I had just gotten it. Yeah, no, so it says 2003. I got my computer towards the end of 2004. So by that time, it was a bit played out, I imagine. But I know it has a very ardent community of people who have been clamoring for a sequel ever since. So I got that for the collection. This is something I did play, and it's jank-tacularly fun. It's none other than Hogs of War. Hogs of War is a wonderful team versus team or team versus computer game, or I don't know what you call it, turn-based sort of combat tactics. It's basically like Worms, but in a 3D environment, in a very early 3D environment, and instead of worms, you got pigs. It's more fun than you think, just by the description, but I remember it being janktacular, and it's definitely the type of stuff that I feel I need to cover on the channel. We'll see if and when we get to it. I'm pretty sure it is on GOG, and I'm pretty sure I have it, so I'm gonna get to play it. I'm gonna make it playable. Also, it was on one of the PlayStations, I wanna say. I think it was also released on one of the PlayStations. But yeah, so this is the type of shit that needs to be remade. Like, don't remake good games, remake jank games that could have been better. Like this shit right here, this, yes. A classic, Caesar 3 from the Medallion collection, which I think is a Nordic thing, sort of, maybe. Although the writing is in English on it, so I don't know what to tell you. But dude, I mean, it's Caesar 3. You know how much I love the Impressions games, even if technically and subjectively speaking, Emperor is my favorite one because it is the most polished. I did spend way more time playing Caesar 3 and Pharaoh than either Zeus or Emperor. I'm gonna buy these things whenever I see them, in whichever shape or form I see them, because they're such a ginormous part of my personal gaming development. And also, whenever I get copies, it means I can gift them to my friends who are also my age, who have also never had them in physical format. Not to use, mind you, just to have as kind of like a totem, a physical manifestation of the past in the present. I somehow found a Command & Conquer Red Alert, the first one though, Red Alert 1, from EA Classics apparently. Not like Command & Conquer has never been my stuff. I think I'm on record with that. This one has 1 bullet and this two has 2 bullets. The Command & Conquer style in general of RTS hasn't really appealed to me, with one exception, which I will get into next year. I did play Red Alert 2 a fair bit, but you know, the story mode. Ooh, Judge Dredd. Dredd versus Death. Obviously not the type of game I normally play, since it is a first-person shooter, I want to say. Yeah, but I do love Judge Dredd. Both movies, I can argue for the first one as well. You betray the law! I totally love Dredd 3D. I have, back when I made movie reviews, I have an entire Dredd 3D review, which, you know, now that I think about it, I might have to see if I can find and maybe upload it on Patreon for my patrons to hear and see, or I'll just remake it again as a Patreon exclusive. I love Dredd and the comics. I've read quite a few of the first years of Dredd. I think I'm somewhere in like 1987. I'm not sure. I haven't read it in a while, but I'm a big fan of Judge Dredd, so I simply had to have this. I have it on GOG as well, so I might actually play it. This was a weird find, which I got because it's weird and because of one of the games on it. So this is an adventure game anthology. It contains 7 games, one of which being Siberia 2, which, you know, for all adventure point-and-click players, Siberia is one of the greater recent, let's say, series of adventure games. But then there's like literally the other 6 titles I have literally never heard of, and they sound like bargain bin sort of stuff. And I think one of them uses papyrus as a font, more or less. So that right there tells me a lot. So I'm thinking maybe next year I'll make a video about all the games in this disc. I don't know if anyone's gonna be interested in watching that. I have a slight interest in checking them out just for shits and giggles. I'll spend the least amount of time on Siberia 2 because, again, the Siberias require they need their own super deep dive. So yeah, the last find of the year, let's say, which I only had to have because you'll see why. Not something I normally play, but come on, Goat Simulator. I mean, it has a goat on it. I could not pass this up just because Goat Simulator. Interesting story. So I did get myself a Christmas thrifting present, and I got it off of eBay. It's the first and up until now the only game I got myself from eBay. But the twist behind it is that I got it for myself, but I didn't pay for it. A friend of mine was like, yo dude, like, I know you do this game collecting thing, and I want to get you something, but you know, it's difficult to find something, to know what something you want. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, I'll give you a list. And like, I'll give you a list of eBay auctions. And I send them the list, and they're like, well, you know what, I'm kind of super busy right now. I just don't have time to wait on auctions and shit. Like, how about we do this? How about I just give you the money I was gonna spend anyway, and you can buy with them whatever you want. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, that's the perfect present. Where I come from, the classic cash in an envelope, or even not in an envelope, is still the best present you can give, especially if you're giving it to an adult. Although granted, kids over a certain age will appreciate it much more so than, I don't know, fucking know, a sweater or some shit like that. So yeah, consider that for your next gift giving period. If you don't know what an adult wants, how about you just give them some cash, or well, in my case, a transfer. So what did I get? None other than Drakensang, a German version of Drakensang. Now, fair enough, the box has seen better times. It's not that bad though, and it is in German. Das Schwarze Auge. So it is what it is. I still haven't found it in English, but this is one of those titles where it's really totally fine to get it in German, because the original game is from Germany. Like I said in the video, it's based on a German tabletop system. So this one I definitely had to have Drakensang in German at the very least. And I'm still looking for, you know, English versions of either it boxed or the compendium with everything else, like with the River of Time and the expansion, which is Philemon Stone or some shit like that. So I'm still gonna look for that. But yeah, so this is what I got myself as a Christmas thrifting present. Now, Christmas card time. If you remember last year, I got a Christmas card for the first time from a British viewer, and that one was a Sonic the Hedgehog, and this is also, it's going with the theme, and it's Tails, which is very fun. It's very nice illustration. The viewer paid someone to make this in particular for this purpose. And I have the artist name here, and I will post their account, their profile in the description if you're interested in checking out their art. I love this. And now, if you've been following me for like at least 2-3 years, let's say, which is a big ask, I know, you'll be aware that every 2 or 3 years or so, I like to do an audience survey. And I decided this is the year to do another one. And I'm super interested in getting responses from the people who are consistently watching. And that's generally the people who watch these as well, or who are interested in the thrifting videos especially. So I'm doing another audience survey this year, at the end of this year, and I'm gonna let it run for like a month or so. And you will find a link to this survey in the description. It's not gonna say audience survey link. It's just gonna say something like, if you've seen the full video, you know what this is. Thanks for the help, and I'll post a link. Because again, I would want to have the answers from the people who are super involved and interested in this shit. I won't be the survey. It's a simple Google survey, and it's not gonna record your email address or anything like that. So yeah, if you wanna give me some information related to your patterns of how you watch stuff on YouTube and what you prefer to watch and stuff like that, and also some feedback anonymously, please do me a super solid and participate in the audience survey. So I'll let that run for like a month or so. So basically, maybe towards the mid or end of January, I'll make a video where we go through the results together, if you're interested. So that's, you can actually see. If you participate in it, you can sort of see what others did. Until then, I'm gonna do stream most likely next week. Probably it's gonna be the last sort of thing, the last sort of active, sort of super active thing on the channel. It's gonna be a stream where I wanna just, we're gonna do like an end of year channel recap, wrap up sort of stuff. And I wanna show you like the videos that did well, some of the videos that did surprisingly well, stuff like where most of the traffic comes to to my channel, that sort of stuff. We'll just talk about where the channel is and kind of what I wanna do next year. Look forward to that if you're into it. If you're not into the stream watching, rest assured I will cut the stream into a video, so you can also check it out later on as a video. But that's kind of the plan. Otherwise, what I've been doing lately have been a lot of silent streams, I call them, basically. So it's just gameplay. It's not even me on camera. And it's mostly been me playing Dorf Romantic. I've managed to surpass 20,000 points, which I haven't done, which hasn't happened until now. Keep in mind, I will also do non-Dorf Romantic streams where I will be interacting directly. I interact in those as well, but only through typing. But you know, with camera and audio and stuff. But I'll be playing some other stuff in those. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments on any of this stuff, please do write them below, and I will see you next time.